Okay, so we're live now. All right, so just as I had mentioned, I wanted to kind of have conversations with some of the people within the Black Star Pan-African community so we can kind of
Right,
network, kind of get a gauge on what we're doing to transition either to invest or to move to the continent. So just to
right.
give a little background about me, I'm a member of ADDI, the African Diaspora Development Institute, Dr. Arakana
Hmm.
Chiambari Kwao. I'm actually the co-chair of the North Carolina chapter with the main chair, Peter Greer, and just
Okay.
coordinating with him, ADDI, and then what my goals and plans are to invest on the continent. So I'm doing some things stateside to kind of prepare myself in terms of business endeavors that I'm pursuing. So just trying to get a gauge on other people, what they're doing to make that transition. A lot of the um, people that I see online that have content, they're pretty much on the continent, but I don't really see too many videos of kind of people talking about what they're doing to make that transition over. And I know we briefly had a conversation when you were there. Actually, you just got back.
Right,
This is your
right.
second trip.
My second trip this year, but that's my fourth trip.
Okay, so you're way ahead of the game compared to me. I'm planning on making my first trip next year, and I have a lot in the Black Star Pan African community. Haven't finished actually even paying for it yet because I'm putting so much money into real estate, and I'm just trying to launch an e-commerce part of the business as well. But just
Right.
to get back to, I guess, what you're doing stateside. So you've been there several times already. I know you have a lot in the Black Star Pan African community. So can you give a little background about what you're doing?
Uh, well, luckily, I retired in 2021.
Okay.
But I started going with Bomani back in November 2018.
Oh,
That's when I went on my very first group trip with him. And I liked it so much. 6 months later, I was right back there because I had to go off the beaten path. You know, we hit the hot spots, but then while I was there the first time, it allowed me to be able to build some relationships.
Hmm.
So with those relationships, I was able to return back 6 months later on my own and to just go around and see uh, other things
Hmm.
and get a feel because we were on the bus. This time, I'm a little closer to the ground with moving around.
Right.
Then I went in this past, well, during the pandemic, I was going to, that killed my trips during that time. Uh, then I went this past April 2024, and then I went again in July.
Okay.
July, April was to go put my feet on my land for the first time,
Okay.
and to see. I had my friend Muhammad put up my fence wall, so that was the reason why I went in April to go see
Okay.
that, and then move around and look into some things, talk to him about certain things. And then when I went back in April, it was to go look at different uh, business things and talk to some other people about what was going on there that might be easy to transition to.
Okay. And in the
So I went
community,
to
you have how many lots did you
two,
two? Okay.
yeah. Uh, so at his well before, luckily, just happened to be at the time that Bomani had another group there. So one of the good nights, about one of the nights that I was able to go visit them, was the repatriation and business investment meeting,
Okay.
which is where they have people there to discuss certain things, shipping, uh, business, home building, just a variety of things, kind of hitting a lot of things that we definitely need. So in just maybe a day or two before the meeting, I think maybe a day before, uh, I went to the bank because somebody had mentioned investing in treasury bills in Ghana. Piqued my interest, especially after I was hearing the interest rate.
Mm.
And then a lady at the uh, business meeting that night, she mentioned treasury bills,
Mm.
invested in treasury bills, and she mentioned that it was like 31% return a year. And I told her, I said, I was just at the bank getting information on that either earlier or the day before.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that people can look into. You have to have a resident permit, and uh, you can have a like I have a Ghana non-resident card.
Okay.
That'll help you be able to do it also. And then I also went to where they do greenhouse farming, uh, which the greenhouse for a greenhouse it costs between 23 and 25,000. But you don't have to. The people that or the group that buy the food that you're growing,
Mm-hmm.
they're right there on the spot. So you don't have to go look for buyers.
Right. Yeah, I
You
saw one of
can.
those videos. You mentioned that, and it reminded me the video that Denta did from the Odana Network. And I was wondering whether it was the
Oh,
same. And I backtracked, and it is the same
yeah, that was
business
I
opportunity.
went to the same location. So I have my friend that was driving me around. He's going this. There's one closer to Tema, uh, which east of Accra, but then they also have that same group. They also have one around Cape Coast. So this month he's going to go visit the one in Cape Coast for me,
Right. Yeah.
since the land is closer to that way.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the things that I was thinking about because I haven't stepped foot on a continent. No, the way Bomani explained it, that it was within the distance between Jahadzi, Accra, Cape Coast. So since you've been there, can you kind of speak to that?
It's about on the bus. It was like an hour and a half, and a lot of it's due to traffic. It's not like like if you get on the freeway here, an hour and a half driving.
Okay,
It's
so hour
not
and
that
a half
type of hour and a half.
to Accra or hour and a half to Cape Coast
Hour and a half to from Accra to
to Jahadzi.
Jakarta. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then Cape
So just
Coast.
just to put that in a better context, if you get on like I-10 here, it's not that hour and a half drive.
Okay,
It's the distance is shorter, but it takes an hour and a half.
got you. Yeah, because of traffic and road
Right,
conditions that time.
right. And
And
then they're
and
doing a lot of construction there also.
and it's the same distance between there and Cape Coast, so it's kind of in the middle, or it's closer to Cape Coast.
Uh, it might be closer to Cape Coast.
Okay,
It might be closer to Cape Coast.
okay. You have an interest in Cape Coast as well because we know that's where the slave dungeons and the tourism, and that's going to be
Right,
a hot spot for that. And I've also seen where the current president, closer to Cape Coast, he's building infrastructure in terms of the health industry. So for medical, nursing, things like that, there's supposed to be more educational facilities, like teaching hospitals is kind of what I was thinking. So
right,
one of the last people that I interviewed, and I don't know if you saw it, I interviewed a gentleman from New York that has the Wall Street background. He's actually investing there. He's building not assisted living facilities, because most of those are people that need more, but more independent housing for seniors. So people that are
right,
retired like you that may not want to build their own place, now you have an apartment that you can pretty much rent for a lot less than what rent in the States. And then he's going to have the surrounding resources and support within that. So I know that would be
right,
a huge area for the Cape Coast in terms of people having access to quality healthcare. So yeah, there's so
right.
many opportunities just thinking, and we were kind of discussing some of the opportunities like the greenhouses.
Right.
huge. The treasury bills, I had seen someone else that posted that similar information about the return that you can get, which I guess they're using that to kind of fuel the growth and development within the country.
Yeah. So I'm planning on putting my fingers on a little bit of all of that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's good that you have the retirement income that you can do that with. Yeah, I'm not, well, I could retire, but I wouldn't get, what I could get if I wait. So I'm trying to build up the income here now, passive income and business income that I can pretty much work from anywhere with the
Right.
e-commerce and even the real estate side, and then use that to kind of fuel the investments and growth there. And that's why I wanted to connect with more people within this community because I haven't met anyone yet. I haven't stepped foot there. But just in speaking to people, just trying to gauge what their interests are, what they're doing. And I think it can lead towards creating like a mastermind group. So then we can
Right.
support each other for our different business endeavors and even get to the point where I'm sitting on the board of directors, you're sitting on my board of directors, I'm sitting on your board of directors, and that's how we grow.
Right. And I think it's important that everybody definitely set foot on the continent because to make it to make it more real, and then you have because if you don't go somewhere, you don't miss it.
Yeah,
But like I said, 6 months I'd never been. Went that one time with Bomani. 6 months later, I had to get back because of the feeling that I got. It was like a home you never been to, but it seemed familiar,
right.
so to speak. And uh, for myself, like I tell my family, I want to go there to heal sort of physically and mentally because their food don't have the garbage that our food have in it here.
Mm. Yeah,
So things kind of change for you. Everybody have to figure that out for themselves. Well, experience it themselves when they go. They'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah. I'm looking forward to that. You hear stories about people just dropping seeds, and next thing you turn around and they're growing, vegetables and fruit and everything. So yeah, they got untouched virgin soil that's right with the
Right.
minerals and things that it needs, minus all of the chemicals and stuff that they have to put in the dirt here or the soil here. So yeah,
Yeah, because
that's
I can't wait to start planting some trees on my land soon, hopefully.
mm. So
So
you
that's another thing I was there doing. I went to a nursery.
okay,
I'm trying to see how much things cost, how big you can get them, how small you can get them,
okay,
whatever it takes.
excellent. And you
So I
got
kind of I kind of moved around and did different things.
okay. How big is your family? Everybody's planning on going, or
It's like I told them, anybody that's grown that want to go, I'm not pulling I'm not pulling hands, arms, legs, feet. I'm not pulling nothing. I know one person going for sure.
right?
Everybody else, optional.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going through now, but I think it's important to have a plan B. Like I tell people, we don't know what's going to happen in the US. We know they're talking about the Great Reset in terms of how
Bingo,
AI and things like that are going to eliminate jobs. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to build as much as
bingo.
I can build.
Yeah, so I'm like, my mind is on. You talk about the Great Reset. That's 2030. I'm like 3 years ahead of that. Got to be. You pretty much have to be done because they writing things and crossing their eyes. I mean, crossing their T's and dotting their I's.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, so uh, people got to really people that are serious or really want to. Time is counting down, and then not knowing what our dollar's gonna be.
yeah. That's another big issue because it's not backed by anything. It's all based on a promise.
Exactly. And then like last year is when they kind of last year, this year when they I think it was last year when they implemented the CDBC, Central Digital Bank Currency thing.
Hmm.
Now that was like I mean I think it was like we're going through like the pilot program on certain parts.
Okay.
But if they don't allow you to transfer certain things or
Yeah.
limit your transfer,
Yeah.
or if you don't comply with certain things, you
Yeah.
don't have access to, so that's why I was there because I don't want to be just limited to what can happen
Yeah.
here,
It's important.
you
A
know.
lot of people, that's the importance of what I'm trying to do now is to get more people aware. Because in marketing, from what you learn, you know, the difference between a spider and an animal that's chasing thing, a spider basically creates a web to attract. So I'm thinking that we
Right,
create the content to attract more like-minded people because we know we can't really practice group economics unless there's a significant amount of us that have the same mindset. And then we can, move forward and do certain things. And you hear about other cultures that can, I mean, I'm hearing stories about like Indians and Lebanese that the parents or grandparents bought land like 10, 15, 20 years ago. And now the next generations are putting up the hotels. You know, that's
right.
something that's lacking in our community. And we just doing this, that's going to
Well,
create.
and we've been, I never thought about moving to the continent before 2018.
Mm,
Never crossed my mind. But the more we see, the more we hear, like things that you just mentioned,
yeah.
that made it a reality in 2018 because I had already started seeing
Yeah.
certain things.
Yeah, it's what you get exposed to. I only got exposed to it through actually the first video I watched that kind of opened my eyes to Africa was Passport Heavy, Jubril Okoro. I don't know if you've
Hmm.
seen his video, but he has some excellent production videos. I mean, the quality is just amazing. And he just profiles different places around the globe. Matter of fact, before I put Africa on the map, I was interested in Panama because I knew I wanted to do something outside of the US. I went, okay, Dominican Republic and then Panama. And then I
Right,
saw his video and I'm like, I always knew that Africa had potential, but I just didn't know in terms of the corruption and people just trying to survive for the day and, the different administrations. I thought it would be a long way off before they really got their act together. But when I saw that, I mean, he did a profile on a couple of streets in Ghana, and it looked like Park Avenue or Fifth Avenue in Manhattan in New York. I'm like, wow, this
right.
is this is Ghana. So that kind of opened my
Yeah,
eyes. Okay, there's
yeah.
potential.
You can go to East Lagoon Hills, and if you want certain things, you can. There's a lot. The the best that I can put it for people of certain ages, definitely in their 50s or whatever, or 60s. It puts me back in the 70s, which
Mm,
I think was, if I have to say, part of the best years for me to remember.
mm,
The way people got along, the way, you
yeah.
know, it just take me back to that time. And I'm like, I can go back to the 70s because that was a good time for me.
Mm,
And then I can spring up from there. But I don't need all of the 5G here, what they planning on doing. I don't need all the cameras. I don't, all of that. No, take me back to the 70s.
mm. Yeah, those were good times.
Yeah. So, but transportation is another thing that is possible
Yeah,
there that I'm looking at also.
yeah, that could be huge. Yeah, I was looking at this. Actually, she did an interview with the co-chair of ADDI, the North Carolina chapter, and I had seen her video before because when I saw it, I said I recognize her from somewhere. She did an interview. The sister, she's in Ghana, but she did an interview with Go Black to Africa, and
Yeah.
she was talking about how she got into logistics with a partner and they were getting trucks from Europe and they were getting them
Hmm.
for a lot less than what we know in the US that you can get a truck
Right.
for. And just to give you a little background, like the last couple of years when I was in corporate, my last 2 years, I was doing commercial loan review. And
Hmm.
I'm looking at business profiles when I'm looking at these loans. I mean, millions of dollars that I'm seeing people getting access to. Before that, I was in the mortgage industry for over 20 years. But just
Right.
residential mortgage, commercial mortgages is like night and day. It's two different worlds. So one of the loans that I reviewed during the supply chain issues that we had globally, guys was buying freight liners and Peterbilt trucks used. I'm looking at loans like 1.5 million and they buying
Mm.
60, 70 trucks. But even used, those trucks go for like 40, $50,000.
Right.
He was getting trucks from Europe for like, I think she said like 10,000. I'm like, wow, that's a huge
Wow.
opportunity. You don't have to invest 40, 50,000 in a used freight liner. You can get something from Europe. Now you can support whatever logistics that you want to do on the continent, which if you're doing something like greenhouses or whatever, they may have um, the distribution in terms of you don't have to find a buyer, but you still have to transport. And if you're
Right.
growing, if you're scaling, you're going to need more trucks to do the transportation. So it's an
Right.
avenue. And then you can actually um, have that available for other types of industry or for someone else that may need their produce or whatever transported. Because you know, like we know here, you can put a trailer on the back of something and haul as well too. So whether it's
Right.
poultry or whatever. So yeah, there's opportunities for the growth for sure.
Yeah. And mine will be more toward probably uh well what I'm currently looking at is uh passenger vans.
Mhm.
So when I was over there, I had my friend took me to dealership. We were looking at some passenger vans to see the cost of them because I needed to know what it was there and then find out what it is over here.
Mhm.
And then so at the night of the business meeting, there was a shipper there, and he told me, he said, if you give me the VIN number, I can tell you how much to do this, how
Okay.
much it'll cost to get in. Because that was a big hanging question mark for me was if I had something, even my own personal vehicle, I wouldn't know how much it would cost to
To ship it over
get
there.
in. But
Yeah.
now that I have that contact, I would be able to know.
Yeah. So I guess the same if I would imagine if commercial trucks or inexpensive like that. I would imagine the passenger vans the same thing. They have, a
Yeah,
lot
because
cheaper.
like there's a they in not all countries are like this, but you'll pay more to get it in if it's over 10 years old.
Mhm.
So, and he showed me an example where somebody had to pay like $8,000 to get the car in because it was over 10 years old.
Mhm.
But then another car that he showed me was less than 10 and it wasn't that same price.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know there was a difference between the age of the vehicle.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So if it's something that's over 10 years old, you'll pay more.
Okay. I don't know if it's a website that you may not be familiar with. It's called govdeals.com. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
So there's like it's a government surplus site in the US. So construction
Uh,
equipment, vehicles, everything is on there. So govdeals.com. I think it's yes, govdeals.com. So it's kind of a broker aggregator for all of the different auctions and stuff for all different types of
ah,
stuff here. So I know some
oh,
people do
I'll
stuff.
be on it today. Trust me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about networking and getting feedback from different people because I don't know what you know, you don't know what I know.
Right,
We come together, build this network, and then, like I said, it helps the Black Star Pan African community, helps ADDI and the mission, because
right,
I remember one of the things Dr. Arikana mentioned is that what she's trying to build with ADDI, because she said other counterparts like Europeans, um, they can position a family, for instance, in Zimbabwe or in South Africa or whatever, and anybody that's coming over from Europe, from Germany or whatever, they can put them with a family that has the same amount of kids. They can put them in a hotel that's owned by. So down the
right,
line, they have all of the resources lined up for them, for the Germans, for the what. And that's the goal for us to kind of put these resources together so we can support each other.
right, right. Yeah, that's what I hear is happening. That's why you see so many people, in the Asian community, whether they're in Jamaica, whether they're in Belize, or whether they're in Africa, doing it that same way.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly what you speak of.
And a
But
portion of us have that crab mentality. So got to get away from the crab mentality.
yeah, and I guess you gotta either start with your own family or just somebody like-minded. Like we not family, at least that we know of,
Yeah,
but like-minded, you can put some things together. So,
exactly.
uh, but between transportation, greenhouse, treasury bill, uh,
Real estate's going to
you
be,
know, Airbnb,
yeah,
you know, that type of thing. So, uh, and there's a lot more, some more
yeah.
things that I'm sure I don't know of, or
Yeah, so the
but
guy that I,
that's why I touch different people there also
right,
because I need to know what different people think.
exactly. So the gentleman I interviewed, Dale, one of the things that he's doing, he's testing different business opportunities as well. So he's in the real estate. He just did a yam project where he partnered with some of the farmers and he invested in the yams and just to see what the potential was, going through the whole process and then sharing that information with other people. So he has the same thing in mind for the pineapples, concrete. He mentioned a couple others. So that's part of this process. We start to build this network, connect with other people, and seeing what's viable in terms of what options are available. And what I may be interested, you may not be interested in, but if I can direct you to
Right,
somebody else that's doing it that has success with it, because we don't want any speculation and we don't want any scams and stuff, Lord, to minimize that because nothing's, perfect, but to minimize that as much as possible. So if somebody's going forward and doing it and testing it, then it gives you more of a confidence that, okay, this is viable, that this is something that can be done.
right. And just like I'm not 100% correct, but I'm pretty sure it is. Like doing business over there, you might have to partner with a Ghanaian.
Right. Yeah.
I'm thinking that's about which I don't have a problem with. You just have to find somebody you trust.
Yeah. That's huge. I actually confirmed that with Dale. He was saying, yeah, as an individual, and this is one of the obstacles that we face as investors that are not citizens, that it's a huge amount that you have to come up with. I think it was like 250,000. Um, it's something that would be for multinational company, not for somebody opening up a small business investor. And there's
Right.
something that they're working towards. This is what Denta was talking about in terms of Goober. You heard of Goober, right? To grow, unite,
Hmm.
build Africa. So that's some of the conversations I think that are taking place. They're not there yet, but if you're trying to stimulate growth and development, you don't want to have obstacles like that. We're not talking about CDs. I just got a pop up that this will end in 10 minutes, so we'll talk for a few more and then wrap it up. But
Okay.
we're talking US dollars. They're talking several $100,000 to start a business.
Right.
It's an obstacle that will stifle growth and development. So I guess one of the workarounds is to find like-minded citizens, Ghanaians, and then partner with them. Because I
Yeah.
asked him about that, and I may have a second follow-up interview with him and kind of if he can elaborate on that because he has the Wall Street background and he has the portfolio business management, so he can kind of speak to that more. But that is a huge obstacle, the initial
Yeah. Because
capital.
the person I was with in July, that's who I'm a partner with on the greenhouse.
Okay.
Because I mean, and everybody probably be different. Not only do I want to go and create a sustainable living for myself, but if I have a friend that's a Ghanaian, that me and them are on the same page, trust each other, this, that, and the other. if I can do something and it helps them too, we just we just partner in it like that, just like with the greenhouse. If I'm not there and he's there and we're splitting whatever that is, because when they told us the return, the possible return, I asked him if he was doing half of that, what half would be if he was doing that in a year. And he said no. He's more anxious about it than I am.
Mm.
I'm very anxious about it, but he's even more interested. When we left out of the building, he's like, I can see the future.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about, creating the jobs. Because to me, generational wealth is not just about my immediate family. The
Right.
generational wealth is the businesses that we can help start, fund, and help the economy and people flourish and grow. So, yeah,
Because just think, when I was there, now he was driving me around, but we became real good because I had him every day, anytime that I needed. But I would buy me meals, but when I ate, he ate.
right.
And then it was like 3 days that I was like, hey, get your wife something so she don't have to cook because I had it kind of late that day. I bought 5 meals for $19.
Mm.
$19. I'm like, I'll spend that real quick over there because over here
Yeah,
you ain't getting 5 meals
that's
for no
one meal.
$19.
No,
You
that's
might not get
one.
a hot 5 hot dogs for $19.
Yeah,
So now that relationship that me and him have is different. I have two of those good relationships I can say over that way.
that's good. That's good.
So it just takes going there and building relationships with people and becoming a part of somebody's, you know, family, which I plan on doing because just to help and be a part of the community, not just come and they see you come, they see you go. I don't want to be looked at as a tourist.
No, me either. Me either. Yeah, I think that's important. I think that's the steps that we need to take moving forward to kind of help the mission, help this journey for sure. So
Right.
I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up, but yeah, it was a pleasure
Okay.
talking to you. I don't
Yeah,
know in
most
terms
definitely.
of going forward the schedule, but the goal is to, like I said, create an interview, have conversations with as many people, and then we can
Right.
circle back around and have a part two, part three, part four. We can go from there. But before I go, you have anything else that you wanted to mention or talk about?
No, just for everybody to anybody that's really interested, start making your plans because if you don't make your plan for over there, they gonna create a plan for you here, and it's gonna be different than anything we've ever seen in our life. And
Exactly.
that's what I'm telling my family. What they got coming is gonna be different. We're not gonna recognize
Yeah.
it, and I don't want no parts of
I concur, as we say here, facts, as the young people say.
it. Yeah, yeah.
But yo, Charles, it was a pleasure speaking with you, man. I'm hoping to connect with you on the continent soon, and then we can chop it up over there as well. And yeah, keep it moving.
Most definitely. Most definitely. It was a pleasure talking to you, my brother.
Pleasure talking to you, man. I probably see you on the Black Star Pan African chat. We'll probably chop it up there too. But
That'll work.
you enjoy the rest of your afternoon, man. We'll speak soon.
All right, you too. Take care
All right,
now.
take care.